Good morning, dear students. I, Vidyasagar, welcome you all in the e-learning class of Modern International School Hiswa. I am going to start subject history of Standard 6, and this is third video lecture on the topic Chapter 2 from Gathering to Growing Food. Dear students, as we have discussed earlier about the beginning of farming and herding, now we came to know about the domestication. It is the process in which the peoples they have been started for taming out the animals as well as the production of crops they have started. In this process, the human being they used to identify those animals who are non-violence and who are not doing the violence against them, and they ever used to choose such type of plants which ever used to hold the thick grains, and the stalks should be strong. It means it should be, and those grains it should be kept for the further production of the crops, as well as the animals they were also keeping for the further breedings, and thus they have started the process of domestication before 12,000 years ago. As the 12,000 years ago, we tell it as the Mesolithic due to in the Middle Age. As I have told you, the three types of the age, that was Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic. So we it was about 12,000 years ago. Next, they ever used to find out like the teeth and the horns of wild animals are usually much larger than those of domesticated animals. They ever used to think about it that those animals which can harm, they will look wild. But if those animals, we are talking about those animals which are less harmful, they having the small teeth as well as they do not have the horns. These were the some of the features which they have analyzed, and they have started the process of domestication. Next is a new way of life. It means whenever the process domestication was started, then this process was gradually being conducted by those peoples. Like they ever used to show the seeds, and they take the time like the days, months and years, and they ever began to grow the plants, and they resides at a particular place for a long period of time, and ever they looked after the plants and watering, weeding and driving away from the animals as well as the birds till the grain used to be ripened. And this was the sequential process. So they ever used to stay for places at a long period of time, and as the grains has to stored for both seeds, because they some of the produced grains they ever kept it for the seeds, production of the seeds, and thus they ever used to store it for the next time production, like nowadays we ever used to do. And they also started the begins of the making the clay pots. It means they started making the clay pots. As we will also see that the seeds they can also kept or used in as seed, as food, a gift and a store for foods. It means this they started domesticating, they started the production of the plants with the help of the seeds, and they ever starting the making out the clay pots, and they also started keeping out the seeds in those pots, storing the animals. It means, and they were aware about those animals, that those belching animals they were very useful, as well as the hide and skin, it was also useful for them, as well as the meat which was also important for the domesticating animals. Finding out about the first farmers and herders. Now you will see on the map page number 13 which is given there, like you will see the some of the places which have given marked there in the blue squares, that are the places where the farming that have been started, like the Burj Home, like the Daimabad, like the Kuldihwa. These are the places whichever have been found all over the subcontinent. Some are in the northwest, some are in the present day Kashmir and east and south India. These have been found by the evidences which found by the scientists, and which have been found at the particular places with the help of the evidence that found for the plants and animal bones. And the most exciting finds include the remains of burnt grain. It means those grains which were found there, it was in the form of burnt grain. Then they have thought that maybe it maybe have been committed by mistake, or maybe it had done by for doing some experiments like this. But the final result which have been find out, that they were came to know about the production of rice, and the different animals bones, through which it also came to know about that they were also domesticating the animals. Now, toward a settled life, it means they started domestication, they started producing the crops, they started domesticating the animals. Now they starting the making out the herds, as well as you will see that the archaeologist, the person who are interested to find out the buried sites, or you can say the sources of the history, so they ever also find out the herds houses of the same sites. For instance, in Burj Home, which is in present day Kashmir, you will see this in the map. And peoples, they ever used to build the pit houses. Pit houses, it's a type of big dig wherever they used to dug out and make out the ladders in it, and further they used to move inside, and it helps them for being uh, safe during the cold and extreme heat. It means this type of pit home that was made at the time, this shows that their advancements was going on day by day, like the domestication, like the producing crops now settled to a new life. Now you will see that what were the tools were being used for making out the pit houses. You will see the stone tools, as we have discussed earlier. The stone tools, which were the very important, as during the Paleolithic age, which is already known for it, old stones, that was the Paleolithic age which came to know about it, that but some of the tools which were found later, that was considered during the Neolithic. And these includes the tools were polished, giving the cutting edge wherever the mortar and pestles. Mortars ultimately to make out a paste for just setting them well. And the ever today, the 1,000 years later, it means the same tools of Paleolithic types continue to made used, and remembered some tools were also made of bones. Now you will see they were also cooking food. It means their progress was going on with a slowly, but it was moving up. Now they were cooking foods like the rice, wheat, lentils, and now become important part of their diet. It means they have started up the meat. It was consumed by them very earlier, but the rice production and the diet, the cereals, it was using by them very later. Now they also began to weaving the cloths using different kind of materials, for example cotton, bronze. So ever we have seen that how the these changes these were taken place during that time. And women still used to hunt and gather food as well as the men's. Elsewhere, people also adapt farming and herding slowly. It means their lives it became gradually and it create a lot of changes among them. And in some cases, people also combined these activities during the different seasons. It means whenever it was not the crop season, they were busy in the herding, and whenever it used to be crop season, they ever used to both the things, herding as well as the crop production. Okay, dear students, keep watching. Thank you.